Yeah, is this what heaven looks like? Luca's taking us to bourbon heaven here, or whiskey heaven, I should say.
Oh yeah, why not? Let's throw honey in there. All right, we're here a little bit early, but we are at 7-3, as you can see behind me there. Getting ready to do our pick. We're here just waiting for them to get here so we can go inside and do that. I have some friends with me. I'll introduce them in a little bit so that I can, pick a good pick. I'm hoping that's the goal. Hopefully Gnome will be here as well. Luca, the master distiller, is going to be here with us. And see how this goes. My first pick, so I'm pretty excited about doing this on my own for the first time. So, all right, wish me luck. Let's go in there.
All right, I'm here with Gnome.
Hey!
How's it going, bud?
Doing pretty good, man. Y'all ready for some bourbon?
Of course we are.
Yeah, 9:30 is the best time to drink. That's science.
Hey, as I said, if you don't start in the morning, you can't drink all day, right?
Yeah. So this is our little opening palate thing, just to kind of wake up the palate before we go into our tasting, because we're going to be drinking a lot of higher proof stuff. This is 93 proof. I cannot drink a Manhattan without this one, or an old fashioned. Really, really delicious stuff. That's why I call it the workhorse. It's kind of like a cheaper bourbon that you can drink by itself or in a cocktail.
Here's to wake up my palate this morning. Cheers, everybody.
So 73 stands for the 70.
All right, I want to introduce my team that's here with me today. We got over there at the end, Keith P. And then you guys might not know his face, but you know him from his rear end. I mean, from being the best backdoor guy in the business, Tom Black. We got Dorothy P, the luckiest bottle winner there is. And then Danny here, New Braunfels Bourbon, does about 6 to 8 picks a year and all bangers. And of course, Gnome's here to help us out to choose some good stuff.
All right, come on in.
Ooh.
Barrels ready for you guys to do a little tasting from. Because we are below sea level, we get a lot of that humidity. So good
These are
question.
our
These
capitals.
barrels actually came from France. These are immigrant barrels. And for some reason the French put cheese off there. I don't know why, but we're kind of licensed there. So these are our cognac barrels. This one is an Armagnac barrel, which is a brandy made from the Armagnac region. And then we have some Calvados right over there. These are also cognac barrels. This is where we age the Irish Channel whiskey. Kind of Nancy's pet project, the Irish Channel, where we take a 10-year-old Irish whiskey from Ireland, bring it here to the States, combine it with some of our USA whiskey, and then age it for 2 years in these big old cognac barrels. Get it big now. I had Allie's touch on it.
When we pour like this, we want to pour you enough to where you can go back and forth. Never pass judgment on the first pour today or the first sip of a pour. Talk through this as we sip. Each pour I like for you to divide into 3 different sips. The first one just to get your palate acclimated. The second to start tasting. The third to truly pick up the nuances that us distillers and blenders hope that you pick up. We have quite a variety of finish classics, because I really don't know where you want to be, but I want to make sure you leave here saying, wow, it's a tough decision between this one and this one, you know what I mean? And even if you got to think about it,
Yeah.
And then we go out there, we're going to go out there and enjoy the whiskey tree.
Yeah.
We're going to go see that and be able to pour at the whiskey tree.
Ooh.
And become one with your senses, when you have an outside environment and you kind of feel it. When I say that you're tasting something, you're truly feeling it, and I'll show you the differences between the two. It's a great, great experience.
Yeah.
Also when the history comes into play. So let's get a lot of this knocked out to where we can get settled in, get our palate settled in, and I hear y'all had a palate warmer.
Yeah, we did. So.
And then we'll move on and with our classics and then our finishes.
Perfect.
As we go from there.
All right, we guys ready to drink some whiskey this morning?
Twist my arm, Doc.
Yeah, twist your arm.
We're gonna go right to left or left to right?
We'll find out.
All right, we're getting set up here. We're set up here to start tasting. They're doing the order we're going to be drinking it in, and I'm pretty excited. Ready to drink some whiskey at 9:30 this morning.
As a matter of fact, it's like, wow, you know, and that's truly where you develop your palate. And then you go into sip it. And look, you know you don't have to sip the whole thing that's in the glass. You sip it and you go back and forth to the other ones. We're going to talk through what each one of these pours are. The first one that we have is going to fall under a classic. Now, I don't know where your palate's coming from, if it's coming from coffee, if it's coming from water. I know y'all had a palate warmer, but you know, take a sip or two. We also have you know what? Let's get a couple of cups right here for skid cups for them. Also, just in case. I use the same.
What is it?
110.4.
And this is the high rye?
No, this is the weeded.
Or weeded?
This is weeded, yeah.
Ooh, I like the way it hits that tongue in the beginning.
You know, the crazy thing is that it may not always be a full grain. It's going to depend. You know, but we're honing into the whiskey tree family. You know, whereas we had the Bywater 4 grain, when you have 9 different brands. You know what I mean? So all of our bourbon is becoming whiskey tree, and then we'll have finishes off of that. So what we did was we have our Black Pearl rum that stayed in the barrel for a little better than 4 years. And then we emptied that barrel and went back in there with the whiskey tree. As a distiller and blender is to always teach how to taste. Because look, man, I experienced so much in this distillery with my own palate and with Miss Nancy and over the time that we worked together. And you discover so much. And every time I sit, I learn, I want to pass it on because it's a joy. This is a gift right here to have. Our senses, and very few people know how to use them. So I say that because I want to go back to like all the bourbon clubs, you know, and it's high proof, high proof, high proof. And it's like, man, this industry is so multifaceted. From developing a recipe, a mash bill, to where to make the cuts, how to mature it before you even get on the market to sell it. But one of the biggest, if not the biggest part, is tasting. Then when you get into picking a barrel, why do we have to leave it at that proof? You know what I mean? Pick a proof that you like. And you know, every digit matters, every number matters. And imagine what that would be at 105. Maybe it would touch you a little different than it was at 101. That's why I wanted to bring that out, just so you could see. Say I wouldn't have brought that out. You'd be like, what the heck?
Yeah.
You know, you thought that you knew what you liked, you know?
And you probably like something right between the two.
And it changes. Forth within your team and about where you should be. And we decided on 100 proof. Are we going to stay at 100 proof? We don't know. You know, we listen to the feedback. Luca, how do you know what people like? Well, bring them in and we taste through. We talk about it. We talk about different blends, you know, and then we put them out there, you know. So let's compare the cognac to the rum finish. When they taste, they like, what sets y'all off is that brandy fruit forward nose and palate. So am I getting it just because it's a cognac finish? No. We got it on the double oak also. This is what this environment does. This deep southern sweet heat, this humidity, high humidity. Y'all, we'll come in here some days during the wintertime and you can see the spirit level in the barrels because of the barrels sweat.
I don't know, man. Wow. That's cool.
Yeah.
You need to post that when that happens.
Did it
I
change?
will. Because I've had people from Kentucky come in here and say, "What the hell is that about? I've never seen that before in my life." Y'all,
truly
I
embracing
know
it.
what time of year you're talking about, man. It's getting ready to get that time too.
I'm truly embracing it because it's coming out on the palate. That humidity, you know. We're not like a Western environment to where it's dry and our proof goes up.
You
We
get
got such a
days-
strong humidity.
You get days in, it's like a flood in here, the cement's so wet,
If the doors are open,
it goes on. But
we just take those opportunities to mop.
It's terrible. It's terrible. Because I have at the fire station. You got days where the trunk bay is, we can't keep it dry. It's just ridiculous because of the wetness, the weather is, you know.
Wow, this double oak is damn.
Yeah.
Which one's that?
It's the first pour, the double oak. The first we treat double. When we get into steins and honey, that I don't want to give everything you're looking for in the first sip. I want you starving for the second and third sip. So it's going to be subtle in the aspect of my own team questions sometimes if do we have enough honey in there? Of course we have enough honey in there. We want people to think. We want people to want to sip again and let their palate evolve to pull out those flavors. You know? Remember, if something's beautiful, when it's subtle, it's way too rich if you have too much.
Yeah, is this what heaven looks like? Lucas taking us to bourbon heaven here, or whiskey heaven, I should say.
Nobody else can say that they're making bourbon 5 blocks out the French Quarter.
100%.
You know,
Yeah.
we don't have the bluegrass rolling hills of Kentucky, but yet people come down here and enjoy themselves, and they discover where all roads for bourbon end, all the way back to the late 1700s. You know.
Yeah, that's amazing.
This is my favorite. If you could bottle this and put it in a candle, I could sit at the house all day.
Oh yeah. There are a few candles, and there's a perfume that smells like this.
Oh, this is me.
My wife will put this perfume on. I'm like, you're wearing that bourbon one, aren't you?
She didn't want to.
They have one that smells like
She couldn't come down for other reasons, so she
Tell her
wanted.
we missed it.
Yeah, and she was like, when she found out we were going to Whiskey Tree, the tree, she's like, oh. I said, well, ask him next time. If he has time, maybe he could take us next time we're out there. So,
You got those tools, Richard?
all right. So we're gonna try just pop open a few, just try different things, just to see what there is as well. Change our palate, and then we're gonna go back and sit down and make a choice, decision as well.
So we're gonna kind of just try a few different things.
We're gonna buy a barrel.
Maybe we'll figure out something here because there's a few of them that we can't decide on. So that's why we're out here in this area, kind of trying a few extra barrels to kind of cleanse our palate, try some different things, and then go back and choose one as well. But if there's something out here we like, hey, maybe we get to choose that as well. So all right.
I want y'all to look. I want y'all to look at the color.
Here we go. Sorry.
And remember, you don't have to drink it all. Just dump it back on a barrel. Check out the color from it. Nose it. Heard it before, but people ask me all the time, Luca, was bourbon invented in New Orleans? Well, I don't know. Was it? You know? At the end of the day, people think Bourbon Street, and then they say it was invented here. Well, in the late 1700s, the French down here in New Orleans connected with the French in Kentucky. They said that they wanted some clear corn whiskey, right? Clear corn spirit. And I know you're thinking, there ain't no French in Kentucky. There ain't nothing but hillbillies in Kentucky. But think about it. Bourbon County, Kentucky, Versailles, Kentucky, Louisville, Kentucky, quite the French influence in Kentucky. So what they did was they took these sardine barrels and they charred the sardine barrels and they filled them with clear corn whiskey. They put them on rafts and it came down the Ohio and the Mississippi River all the way down to a little cut down here in New Orleans called the Bywater. Because back then we received everything by water. Bywater. So the French popped the bong in the barrel and they said, spoiled, no good, we don't want it. You know why? Because it was brown. So they broke apart their rafts, bought the fastest horse that they could find, around the Native Americans and the British, backed up the Natchez Trail to Bourbon County, Kentucky to tell them that the French weren't happy. The client wasn't happy with what they sent. Then came 1805 when they invented the paddle wheeler. You ever seen those old pictures of the paddle wheelers with over 1,000 barrels on them? They were coming down the river in less than 3 weeks down to New Orleans. So when the French popped the bong in the barrel down in the Bywater, they said,
This stuff isn't as brown as the first stuff that we got. But we learned that we like the brown stuff better than the not so brown stuff. Then came Prohibition, 1920 to 1933. Nobody could buy, sell, and manufacture liquor. So it caused it to stay in the barrels even longer. When those tourists were coming down down a river in those paddle wheelers, they were getting off in the quarter. They were getting back on those paddle wheelers, telling the bartender, give me that Bourbon Street whiskey. Give me that whiskey that bartender on Bourbon Street gave me. Give me that bourbon. So I'll be the first to tell you, we may not have invented bourbon, but without New Orleans, bourbon doesn't become what it is today. How about that?
Cheers to that.
bourbon.
Cheers to
So where does that story come from? It comes from just about every distillery you go to in Kentucky. You know why? Because they've always been grateful and shared how grateful they are for the most heavily sought after market for bourbon all the way back to the late 1700s, and that's been New Orleans. And you know why? Because God gave us livers that nobody else had. Cheers to bourbon.
Cheers to bourbon.
Adore your bourbon.
Oh yeah, why not? Let's throw honey in there.
That's the one I wanted to do last.
So this is another honey fish we're trying right now. Not as honey on the nose, more waxy.
It does look like honey.
But
The look of it, it does look like honey.
This one comes.
but on the palate, that is a different palate. I like that palate. All right, it's coming down to the last part of this, and he threw in this extra honey that's just, I'm loving it. So we're gonna figure this out. We're gonna talk as a group and kind of get a pick going. So whatever we pick, can't wait to share that with you guys. Cheers. All right, we're down to the last decision, so we're kind of gonna come out here, kind of discuss what we want, and then we're gonna go make a decision in there. I'm down to the cognac and the Calvados. The cognac's my favorite, but the Calvados just has such a long finish that I think the group's kind of going that way, but we'll see what we end up picking out. But then he threw in that honey finish at the end, and that honey finish is just, it's enough honey to be honey, but not overpowering the whiskey as well. So it's gonna be a tough decision, so we'll see what we end up coming up with.
It wasn't easy. We've been here with Old Fashioned Ways plus Dr. Martinez putting us to the paces. Man, 4, 5, 6 different barrels to try. The last honey finish was close, but my vote's for Calvados.
And Richard's handsome.
Yes, make sure you include that. Richard, let me tell you, man.
1.
Okay, so we had 4 choices and 3 additional choices. My first choice for myself would be 3, which is a cognac finish. It was 109.5. It had the baking notes, it had the sugar, it had a great mouthfeel. Not necessarily the nose was good, but it was good, and I like that. However, for everyone, it would be number 1, which is the wheat, 110.4. It had a little burn. It had the spun sugar, the brown sugar, the banana on the back, and it gave a great mouthfeel. My second or third would be the Calvados. It had a great nose, really tannic on the palate. And then number 2, I did not like. It just did not hit at all for me.
So in my opinion, I've kind of said it, the Calvados is my number 1 finish, very sweet, kind of what I normally go to. Number 2, the second one would be number 1. This is kind of very smooth, very easy drinking, kind of Woodford Reserve, double oak type thing, so very good. The rum's kind of funky, weird. If you like really different, go for it. And the cognac's interesting. It's just finish is short and love it. So that's it.
Bam.
So, I guess I'm the last one on this journey here. We have tasted a double barrel wheated. We've tasted a rum finish, a cognac finish, and a Calvados finish. And for me, on my palate, guys, the Calvados, the nose, the palate, the nose is just like smelling pancakes in the morning, really good. The finish just lingers on and on. I've been through it multiple times on these things. I do enjoy the rum. At first, yes, we all started with the double barrel wheated, and it was good. But when you go through it, it kind of tails off. The bourbon is a little strong, a more contender for me, my palate. I think people will enjoy
the Cavados finish for what it is. It's basically what they say, fat guy whiskey. It's sweet on the nose. It's great on the palate. It lingers. Proof point is 112.4. It's not overpowering, but it just sticks. It just sticks and stays. My last pass through was not swallowing. It was sipping and spitting, and it's still the most one that stayed on the palate. So Doc's got a lot of hard choices on this one, guys, but my vote is barrel C416, the Cavados finished bourbon from 7-3.
Hello from Old Fashioned Ways. So I'm Monkey in the background. You're not used to seeing me. Doc decided to bring me on this barrel pick, his first barrel pick, and it's a tough one. It's a tough one. We started with some really good ones. I had my clear preferred one, which was the one in a cognac finish, and I thought nothing was gonna knock it off of that until we had a taste of that fourth one. So Doc, I know it's gonna be a tough decision for you, but personally, I would go with that Cavados finish. It is delicious on the nose. It gives you that buttery, that pancake smell to it, and then you taste, and it just stays the same. It does not linger. It does not differ in any way. It is absolutely delicious. So I think every bourbon enthusiast would go with that Cavados finish.
Fork truck drivers would find a big box and put on their forks and drive around in circles. And I'd be like, hey man. And he'd be like, what? And I'd be like, oh, you're busy. He goes, oh no. And he drops the box and I'm peeking. I was like,
All right, so we finally did our pick. We got a pick going. So it's gonna be coming out soon. You're gonna find out what we picked. So it's pretty interesting, pretty exciting, and Danny here helped me pick it out too as well. So
Broncos bourbon having some of it too. So
yeah. So you get
2 picks actually.
Breaking news. All right, there we go.
That's not even your fucking signature. Okay, that's one.
do y'all want to date it?
What's today's date? 10/17.
2025.
Hell yeah.
Well, that was my first adventure actually doing my own barrel pick. Pretty exciting. So I'm here to give you some updates, which I don't have very many. We at this point, I still don't know when it's coming out. I'm hoping that we're in the beginning of December. I'm hoping it comes out January. I didn't want to do it during December because of all the holidays going on. But it's all, still up in the air. We're still waiting for them to have distribution in Texas. But if not, there's ways to work around that we can actually do. So we'll come back with those. As soon as I know that, I definitely will update all of you. Now, this is the video that just talked about the barrel pick that day and all that. I will have another video coming out that's going to be actually my full day there. So it's going to show a little bit more experience going to the swamp, going to the whiskey tree, having to sip under the whiskey tree as well. Some more stories from Luca. So if you want to check out that video, just, it's going to come out later on today. So this one's just showing you just the pick, kind of breaking it down. It's still kind of a long video, but it's what we did at the distillery. The next one has actually what we did even after the distillery as well. Also, I almost forgot to mention, in Patreon, I actually do a special video. It's a 360 video. So I have a 360 camera set up there, and then I post that. There's a link to it so that you can actually watch us as we're doing the pick, going through our tastings. There's a lot more information about the actual picks and how we're going through that process there. And the cool thing about it, since it's a 360 camera, you can actually on your phone, if you're watching your phone, you can actually swipe side to side. So you can actually look around wherever you want as it's going. Of course, it's going to kind of focus you in some areas, but anytime you want, you can actually focus on who's talking, see who's around, see who's sipping on what. So it's kind of a cool thing. So if you're not part of Patreon, make sure to join that. There's a free version as well. So it doesn't cost you anything if you want to just kind of join Patreon with us. Well, it was a great time. I had a lot of fun. I'm thankful for the team I had with me to help me pick. I'm thankful for just, having all of you guys to encourage me to do it. And I'm pretty excited. My first barrel pick's coming up pretty soon. So as soon as I know more, I'll let you guys know as well. Happy holidays, and to our next journey, my friends. Cheers.